Alrighty everyone, that's going to do it for this video. I thought I'd just do the video of me just working and then wrap up with a quick summary at the end. So today I focused on replacing all of the AC belt drive system, and then I started on the job of doing the serpentine belt system, but I had an issue with the pulley not fitting correctly. So as you guys saw, I pulled off the AC belt tensioner, replaced that came with a new pulley. Then I replaced the AC belt idler pulley, and then we got the new AC belt fitted on to the balancer and then the AC compressor. Really nice alignment, so that means that we pressed on the new balancer correctly. Also fitted the new motor mounts since I finally got those in the mail. The ones that were in the car didn't look too bad. They were in pretty good shape, except there was some dry rotting up at the top here, and I think they were about 20 thou shorter than the new ones, although I had just pulled these out of the car, and they were, you know, they're supporting the engine obviously, so they might have just been a little compressed. So not collapsed by any means, but just while I'm in there, just going to do it as a preventative thing. Although I totally forgot to throw the heat shields over the motor mounts, so I'm going to have to go in and do that anyways. It's a long story, so if you guys were a keen viewer, you might note that there's 3 front subframes in here. The one on the car, one over there, and the one I pulled off the car. So I had a little hiccup with the other motor mounts, which I will make another video on and kind of share what happened there and kind of what my plan of attack is. But basically I got this subframe as a backup because they're pretty inexpensive off eBay, and got the new OEM motor mounts fitted in the car. So just doing a little bit of maintenance today, nothing too crazy. I started building the final checklist again, so I'm still waiting on a few parts in the mail. Oh, and then the other thing too that I'll be doing soon is putting in the new starter. So many boxes on my workbench. But I had the old starter out from the last video when we installed the flywheel locking tool to torque the new balancer pulley on. This thing wasn't giving me any problems, but you know, I have no idea the past history with this car, if this was replaced, if this is a 20-year-old starter. So I figured while I'm in there, it was 120 bucks from Rock Auto, so I just got a new AC Delco starter, so we'll be throwing that in as well. And then I do have a new tensioner pulley for the serpentine belt system. For some reason, the idler pulley for the serpentine belt system, it was not fitting correctly with the kind of the dust cover washers that come on these things. It was when you torque it down, it was getting stuck. So I have to kind of figure that out. The diameters inside are slightly different, so I probably should have actually just left that off the car, but I put it back on for the time being. But I got to bring it to the auto parts store and see what's going on there and why there's a subtle variation, and see if I can get one that fits properly. So that's going to do it for today's video. The last one was obviously very long. That was the beast of a job, was getting this thing out. And the other thing that I want to show you guys, so I didn't even see this in the last video, but check this out. Look where that crack goes. It goes all the way down there through the front, and then obviously on the top too. I am so glad I caught this, because obviously this crack was going to keep growing down and then growing back. So basically what would have happened is this whole mounting point for the subframe would have just broke right off. So scary to think that I was driving on a subframe like that for a while, but I'm glad I caught it. Thank you to some leaking power steering fluid that seeped down through the crack. But we're getting this all situated. Man, I tell you guys, if you have the opportunity and the resources to buy a project car, obviously they're a lot of work, but it is very rewarding. I'm learning so much about this car, learning so much about where all these little things are on the car, and I'm doing a bunch of things in the meantime to make it better. You know, replacing things, cleaning things up. Going to be replacing the exhaust studs because those were kind of bent and they're very rusty, so we'll be replacing those as well. Just doing a lot of odds and ends to make this car that much more mechanically sound. And then of course after the mechanical bit is done, it'll be moving on to addressing some of the cosmetic problems. So that's gonna do it for the video today. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any comments or questions about my C5 Corvette build and all the stuff I'm doing to it, please feel free to leave a comment below and I'll be happy to answer your questions. So if you guys haven't already, definitely subscribe for a lot more Corvette build content to come and 3D printing content to come. If you haven't learned anything about 3D printing yet, or you know about 3D printing and want to see what I'm doing with it, definitely subscribe. So thanks again, guys, and other than that, I will see you in the next one.